Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Drizzle. I'm playing a new game called Gloria Victis. Actually, it's not new, but it's still in alpha. I think it's actually been in development for a couple years, and let's just say it needs more development time. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you what the game is about. It's kind of a realm versus realm type game, where there are two main factions. They're the Midlanders and the Izmirs, and basically both are fighting for territory on one large continent together. And so you can choose to play whichever faction. Midlander was the default one, so I picked that. It doesn't really matter apparently. And you fight over cities and things like that on the map. It's kind of like an MMO in that you level up your character, you gain stats, you pick up skill tree kind of stuff, but it's all once I think you level up to 75, which I believe is the cap, then it's after that there's no point in doing anything except for PvP pretty much and fighting over the different cities. So it's not quite the sort of end game with quests or anything like that an MMO would actually have. But this is my guy. I'm only level 31, and like I said, I think 75 is the cap, but I've only been playing for a little over a day, so leveling doesn't really take that long, and actually I haven't really been hitting on it that hard. I probably could have been 50 or higher by now, but I've been trying to screw around with the crafting system, which is extremely in depth. There are tons and tons of things you can make, and each one of them has kind of an asinine number of steps to it. So that's sort of what I've been playing with here recently. I don't know why it spawned me there. Pardon. This game is pretty glitchy, as you might expect from an alpha release. It's $19.99 on Steam right now, so you can decide from this if you think it's worth that price or not. I would say it's probably worth more like $10. And their server really doesn't have a ton of capacity for players right now either. If they get more than I think 50 or 60 players on the server, it kind of starts to go to shit. You'll get pretty bad lag. And there are points in the game where you'll just run into invisible lag barriers, and you have to just kind of find a way around stuff or come back to it in a minute, and it's like it clears up. But I can't really turn the camera to show you what my guy looks like that well, but most of the gear I've got I've either found or crafted myself. See, like I said, I'm a Midlander, level 31. Experience is pretty easy to get. Even the guys around here where I'm at right now are weak. These are all NPCs. Like I said, the PvP is done in certain areas. Like you can see, this has a yellow flag, and this is a blue flag if it's blue. And I don't know if that depends on who you're playing as, what color they show the flag to be. But no, like I say, okay, it's saying this is controlled by the Midlanders. That's us. And right now the Izmirs have maybe a little bit more of the map than we do. That seems to be the case that I've come across, is that every time I come on, there's way more Izmirs online than there are Midlanders. But anyways, I'll show you the fighting. The fighting in the game is all skill-based. It's not, there aren't any actual, attack abilities or anything like that, so I can't just, spam the number 1 button or something. You have to block and parry and kick and do things like that. So he's trying to block me. Alright. These guys are a little weak for me. And actually, that's one of the things I do like about this game, is that it is skill-based. As in, how good you are of a player, as opposed to, what level you are necessarily. I was out here at, level 18, killing level 25 guys, and not really having much trouble doing it. You just have to make sure that you block their attacks. And the hitboxes and stuff in this game aren't real great yet, so a lot of times you'll hit a guy, and it'll act like nothing happened, which is very frustrating when you're getting kind of close to being killed. And then, conversely, I know I've parried a bunch of times, and the game acts like I didn't parry or block it, and then I get hit anyway, so they need to work on the hitboxes quite a bit. But I guess from what I'm reading about the developers, I'm not sure what their name is off the top of my head, but they do constantly update the game. It just had a pretty large patch 5 days ago before I started playing it, so I'm not sure what all that added, but from what I've read in their comments, most of their comments on Steam are positive reviews, not negative reviews. There's only just a couple of negatives that I've seen, and it sounded more kind of like just people who were disenfranchised for one reason or another, they got in an argument in the chat system or something stupid, and they made a negative review based on that. As you can see, we do have ranged weaponry. It's unlimited arrows right now. I think eventually here we're going to see that there'll be, you can see like there'll be a quiver, and you can probably have X number of, certain types of arrows, or like a limited number of arrows. But I haven't found a limit to the amount that I get yet, or like any different kinds, or that you could craft any or anything like that. But maybe later, I don't know. But it does take into account, like, see, I had to kind of raise up there so it would drop and hit him. That's a good way to pull guys in. I say he didn't even hit me. He wasn't near me there, and it still acts like he got me. And I know I hit him a couple times, and nothing happened. So the hitboxes are a little bit squirrely, unfortunately. See, since I got one B, 12C, C is coppers, but none of these, as you can see, it just says inventory coins tooltip. Like, they don't actually have the money types written out yet. I believe these are coppers. I think these might be considered iron coins, and these are silver and then actual gold. I don't know what some of these are supposed to be. As you can see, I've got... This is one other thing that, like, about the game is pack space is a massive issue initially. Begging your pardon. Whenever anybody is attacking one of the major areas, you'll get that sound. From what I understand, there's really no point in engaging in PvP until you're level 75, so I don't bother to go and take part in any of this stuff yet. But, anyways, so what was I saying? There's all these different crafting things you can do. So there's forestry and farming, where, like, you can make, you can butcher animals and get their hides, and you can cook different types of animals, and you can make, what do they call it, billets. You can chop up your wood and make little wood splinters and charcoal out of it, and all kinds of different things for different applications. There's an herbalism and alchemy section, but all I've found so far is this, which I think is used, since it's used in steel pickling, like for treating certain kinds of, steels, steel metal to make different kinds of armors. But again, I haven't figured out where any of this stuff is yet in the game. Then you've got tailoring, of course, leather working, so you can make. These are all like the mats that you can craft with different things, and then you use these. I can make some light armors and some medium armor so far. And you find recipes that get either dropped, or you can buy them from NPCs that teach you how to make other ones. You've got your engineering, which is like you can make wooden planks and glues and different things. Lime, steel wires, this kind of stuff. It's mostly construction tools that you use to make other things, again, like armor and so forth. For armor smithing, I haven't learned very many armor types. I've learned to make chainmail gauntlets and a helmet, and then a few types of shields that, as you can see, there's multiple mats for each type, and like if you drill down on these, like to make a leather strap, I have to have thick hardened leather and beeswax, and like I don't even know how to make thick hardened leather. That's what this is grayed out, so I couldn't even make a leather strap. Now you might be able to find one, like an enemy might drop one, or you might be able to, otherwise acquire one in like a treasure chest or something. But that would be it for me right now. These guys, because they're lower level than me, like this guy's on level 15, he's backing off, and most of them just won't even attack me. But if they're like level, the level 25 guys around here will come after me. Let's see. Other crafting, let's see, there's mining and metallurgy, which is like you can make clay, make lime, different types of ingots. I feel like they've kind of mixed together some of the different skills. Like they need to parse some of this stuff out. Like some things are in different categories than they should be, in my opinion. Armor smithing I showed you. Weapon forging, I can make, again, like why is there ingot types here, but also in engineering and so forth. But there's one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, and ranged weapons. And so far, I think the Marauder's Longsword is the best one that I can craft, but even then it's still not as good as what I've got. I have a +3 Marauder's Longsword that I actually found, I think, in a treasure chest. So there are, you can see it says up to tier 6, so there are +1 to +6 bonuses that'll up the base damage of things. and I think also you can get +1, +2, all the way up to +6 armor pieces that increase their defensive stats. I got lucky and I crafted a +5 Wanderer's Reflex bow, so that gave me like another +10 damage over the bow that I had before, so that turned out pretty good. Black Sickle Shield, this is something I looted, it's +2, so it's better stats than it should have. And then, what was it? This, yeah, I did like a +6 staff. It's garbage damage, but I just kept it because it was only +6 I had made. The graphics aren't bad. You can see down, let's see, down here, there's like a little frame rate counter right in the game, which is nice. It says shows I'm hovering around 70, but I definitely don't have the game set to max settings. It seems like it was not running very well when I tried to do anything like that. And I tried this on my Alienware laptop as well, and it also ran poorly, so I don't know. Although my laptop doesn't have anywhere near the graphical hardware that this computer does. This is made in the Unity engine, so it doesn't support like NVIDIA SLI or AMD Crossfire yet. So you're still just working with one video card. So this is running. I just disabled Crossfire while I play this, and it's running on a single R9 Fury, which it's running pretty well, but obviously it needs a lot more optimization. Unity is kind of a crappy engine, I think, for CPU utilization. So I have a hex core with 12 threads, and I think that it probably is using maybe 1 or 2 cores. Like, I don't think it does multi-threaded. I don't think it uses multiple cores very well, if at all. I'm going to head back to the main town here. You kind of start off here again as a Midlander. This city right here is the main one that you start in. And there's all these little burglar encampments, and you have to kill like these deserters, and they're all pretty basic. Like, there's little foxes you have to kill around here. You can kill wolves. Bears are kind of bullshit. They seem like they attack more quickly than they should be able to. There's boars as well here. I'll kill a couple of them because you can make leather out of their hides. And because I am working on the crafting, I do need to keep gathering as many materials as I can get. Most of the NPCs in the game don't really talk to you yet, or they have like nothing of importance to say. It'll just say farewell when you talk to them. So the graphics really aren't horrible. I kind of wish I had a single more powerful GPU to play this on right now. I kind of wish I still had my 1080s for the purpose of playing this game, because a single 1080 would probably run this game about twice as good as a single Fury does. I'm kind of looking into getting an AMD Pro Duo, which, for those of you who are unaware what that card is, it's kind of like 2 R9 Fury GPUs on a single PCB. I don't know, it supposedly has 8 gigabytes of high bandwidth memory, but a lot of dual GPU cards will say that they have 8 gigs or 16 gigs or whatever, but it's really 8 times 2 or 4 times 2, because dual GPU configurations like Crossfire, for example, I have 3 R9 Furies in this system, each with 4 gigs of high bandwidth memory, but in Crossfire I still only have 4 gigs of memory. You don't get, it doesn't stack or add up. Now with dual GPU cards, it kind of depends on how they do it. Like, if they have dual PCBs, like there's an old video card called from NVIDIA called the 7950 GX2 that was back in the days of DirectX 9, and it had 2 actual separate physical cards, and then it was like they were kind of sandwiched together with these pegs, and each one had its own GPU on it, and each one had 512 megs of, I think it was GDDR3, and back then that was pretty awesome. But again, it wasn't really a gigabyte of video memory; it was 512 and 512. But with the Pro Duo, it's all on one PCB together, and both GPUs are on the same physical card. And I think that depending on how they do it, you might actually get the whole 8 gigabytes of video memory, which would be awesome, because 8 gigs of high bandwidth memory with a pair of Furies on a single PCB. I think from what I remember reading and seeing in their benchmarks, they're approximately, they're a little faster than a GTX 1080 is. Like, they're about 15% faster most of the time. They're probably a little bit slower still than a Titan X, but they have them brand new right now on Newegg for $800, which that price range is pretty much right where it should be for performance. They were like $1,500, and I wasn't gonna ever blow that kind of. That never made sense. They're not like a super gamer oriented card. They're as much for workstation usage, and like people use them for Bitcoin mining, and they're very good for that. But they're obviously also quite capable of gaming. And so if I can sell my 3 Furies, that would give me enough money to buy one of those. And I think by itself it would do as well or better than 2 of the Furies. And it would be a lot better supported than 3-way Crossfire is, because 3-way Crossfire really isn't working in hardly anything. This game doesn't work at all, of course, because like I say, it's Unity. But like the only games I got 3-way Crossfire to work in was Witcher 3, and then there was Flickering. The Forest, it works fine. There's no problems in the Forest, which I thought was pretty surprising. And then, of course, Benchmarks, it runs, they'll use any number of cards and work fine because they're made for that. But this is your storage chest. It's kind of like the bank in the game. Like I was saying earlier, pack space is a major issue. You see, like normally these are all locked off, and you just have your backpack, and then you'll have one backpack here, and these will all be locked off. And you can gradually unlock these by paying money. You just pay with the in-game currency. There's no microtransactions of any kind in this game I'm aware of. At least not yet. And so you can unlock additional storage slots, but then you have to craft the bags to put in there. You can make small bellows, or large bellows. And the small ones only give you another 4 storage slots. That doesn't go very far. And as soon as you start trying to do crafting in the game, it's like your pack space is going to get used up, like really quick. So ultimately, I figured out how to make the bags without a ton of trouble. It's in tailoring, leather working here, and large bellows. So the thick tanned leather, you can learn that from one of the leather working NPCs. You can learn this from the leather working NPC, and they're pretty easy to make, as I recall. I mean, you go out and got a few steps to do it, but once you do it, like it'll produce. So you'll get like 40 or 50 of them for producing at once. So you don't need to do much. And then let me go back up here to the bellows. Flax was the thing I couldn't find initially, but as it turns out, if you just go out like the main gate and turn left, there's a field of it that grows out there, and it regrows like every couple minutes. So you can thresh it. You use this, like you have the tools you use matter in this game too. So like I have a scythe, which you can use for threshing wheat and obviously flax and hops and barley and all those things. If you use an axe, you'll more quickly be able to chop trees. I have a pickaxe for mining, of course, and then a regular knife you need in your inventory to scrape meat off of hides, like when you kill a boar or something along those lines. And you can still do it without those tools, but it takes more time. And also, like using the correct tool and using the correct tradesman's bench will give you more materials if you take the time to go find the right one. Like I could stand around anywhere and do these things, but it'll say to gain bonuses, use the correct workshop. So there's different, like I said, workshop type benches around. I'll see if I can find one here real quick. I think there's some down here. You can see the game's just kind of jerking all the time. It's very peculiar behavior in this game. It's like pathfinding issues. Okay, so this is like you get a weaponsmith here, you got an armor smith here, and they've got their blacksmith's workshop. And here I can do, yeah, that's right, there's jewelry as well, but from what I can tell so far, I don't know what they're for. I think these will probably get used later. Like you can create these items, but they don't actually have some kind of a purpose yet that I'm aware of. But like I say, you can make your weapons and so forth here, and then it tells you to use the right workshop, and you'll get more production out of each run through if you use the correct thing. And there are actually like +1 all the way up through I think +5 workshops that you can find around the map. That's partly why you want to be involved in taking over the correct cities, because like I know, for example, I went up around here, I think, or was it one of these two areas? There's a place called Leak Town. It's one of these two, I forget which one. But anyways, okay, so yeah, Leak Town is here, and we had it yesterday. and there was like a +3 or a +4 sawmill where you could make boards and things like that, but you would get a much bigger bonus out of it. And also, they give you a better chance of producing like your bonus gear. So like here it tells me what my percentage chances are to produce up to a tier 6, which, like, again with this was like the +6 weapon. But if you're using, a higher end workshop, you'll have a better chance. See, now I have a 5.5% chance, whereas before I had 0 chance to produce a tier 6. And then if I was doing like a +5 or +6 workshop, I don't know what the bonus would be, but it gives you, again, a better chance to produce that kind of stuff. So right now, that's kind of all there is to the game that I'm able to take part in. I can't do PvP because I don't have a character high enough level. Again, you don't have to be 75, but for everybody that I talked to in the game said it's pretty much pointless to take part in it if you're not, because you'll just get wrecked. And my gear isn't good enough. Again, I don't know where you acquire the better gear necessarily, but I haven't even been on half the map. Like, there's all this stuff over here that belongs to Izmir's right now. We've got these areas right now. I know that there are a couple like dungeons you can do, so I know that there's gear that we got from that. You can get like kind of rare recipe drops from some of those kinds of things, and then you have to craft the item yourself, and you might need a certain skill level to do it too. So you can see like here, this bandit's knife or brigand's falchion like requires a skill level of 26 to 39 to make that. I only have 13, so obviously I'm not making that anytime soon. Although it says I have like a 100% chance to make the basic edition of it, so I guess you can make it, but you won't have any chance to get a better version of it. And it only does 80 damage, so like my cheap Peasant's Falchion +1 already does 82. There'd be no reason to make it unless you weren't able to, at least get a shot at like a tier 3 or a tier 4. But anyways, that's pretty much all I'm going to go ahead and bring up in this video. This has been Jerusalem. I appreciate everybody watching the channel. I would like it very much if you could click the like button and possibly subscribe if it pleases you. But thanks for watching and have a great day. I'll be sure to do another video soon.